Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Roy Jochumstaller, the Chief of Police for the City of O'Fallon. Standing to my right is Mr. Tim Lomar, who is the prosecuting attorney for St. Charles County. Captain Jeff Gray is also to the right, along with Lieutenant Mike Growich and Detective Sergeant Brian Wilkie. I'll let Mr. Lomar introduce his staff.
Good afternoon. To my left is my lead trial attorney, Phil Grenway. To his right is our lead investigator in this case, Mike Harvey. And to my far right is my chief docket attorney, Steve Coble.
Thank you, Tim. Following an extensive investigation at approximately 11 a.m. this morning, Pamela Hupp, a 57-year-old O'Fallon resident, was arrested after leaving her residence in the 1200 block of Little Brave Drive for the charges of murder first degree and armed criminal action. This arrest followed an incident on August 16th of this year, wherein about 12:10 that date, Louis Gumpenberger was shot and killed by Pamela Hupp while he was at her residence. The investigation began on that date and culminated with the case being presented to the St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. I'll now call on Mr. Lomar.
Thank you, Chief. This time I'd like to briefly outline the facts that were revealed by the investigation. Before I do that, I would like to take an opportunity to recognize the Chief as well as his staff here at the O'Fallon Police Department for an outstanding investigation. They thoroughly, efficiently, and swiftly investigated each and every lead, and I am very confident that we have a great set of evidence here to move forward with these charges. So please allow me to briefly explain what the evidence that was revealed by this investigation is. On August 16th, 2016, a female caller called 911 at approximately 12:08 p.m. to report that someone was actively breaking into her house. While on the phone with dispatch, the caller told the dispatcher that she had a male intruder in her house and that she had shot him. Medical personnel later pronounced the subject deceased inside the residence. The first responding officer spoke to the caller. It was at this point that the caller was identified as Pamela Hupp. Hupp repeatedly told the officer that she did not know the subject whom she had just shot. Hupp also repeatedly told the officer that the subject told Hupp multiple times that he wanted to go to the bank to get Russ's money. Hupp also repeated that she did not know anyone named Russ, and she did not have any idea what the subject was talking about. Hupp told officers and medics that she was not injured during the incident. Hupp was checked and cleared on the scene by medics. The investigation quickly began to reveal the following. Hupp indicated that a silver four-door sedan quickly pulled up onto her street and stopped directly behind her driveway. At that time, a male subject got out of the passenger side of the vehicle, ran up to her vehicle, and entered the cabin through the passenger front door. The silver four-door vehicle quickly then left the area. Meanwhile, the male subject put a knife to Hupp's throat and kept telling her that she was going to take him to the bank and also, that she was going to take him to the bank to, quote, get Russ's money. She said the subject kept looking back over his shoulder while yelling at her, and at some point, as he was looking over his shoulder, Hupp struck his arm with her arm, knocking the knife out of his hand. Hupp then exited her vehicle and ran inside of her residence through the garage door. The subject pursued her into the garage while yelling, among other things, that he was going to kill her. While trying to keep him from entering her home, she began to call 911 numerous times. The first two calls failed to go through. but the third call connected. It was at this point that she realized she was going to be unable to keep the subject out of the house, and she ran into the master bedroom to get a revolver from behind the nightstand, and she shot the subject while he was advancing through her bedroom door. The subject was not armed with a weapon when he was shot by Hupp. She indicated that she shot him multiple times until the gun stopped firing. A search warrant was later obtained for Hupp's residence and her vehicle. Members of the St. Charles County Police Crime Scene Investigation Unit, along with detectives from the O'Fallon Police Department, examined and processed the scene upon execution of the search warrant in conjunction with her written consent to search. The deceased male subject was positively identified by his fingerprints as Louis R. Gumpenberger. Gumpenberger did not have a wallet or a cell phone or any other identifying information on his person at the time he was found by the first responders. However, investigation revealed that a handwritten note and $900 in United States currency that was double bagged in a Ziploc bag were located in each of Gumpenberger's pockets. Further research on Gumpenberger revealed that he suffered a traumatic brain injury after a vehicle accident in 2005. And as a result of his traumatic brain injury, Gumpenberger had slurred speech and other physical and mental limitations. Gumpenberger did not drive and did not have a known income. The handwritten note located in Gumpenberger's pocket appeared to be instructions for Gumpenberger to kidnap Hupp, get Russ's money from Hupp at her bank, and then kill Hupp in order to collect the rest of the $10,000. The note also mentioned the last name Faria. After originally telling first responding officers that she did not know a Russ, Hupp then acknowledged in a subsequent discussion that she did in fact know Russ Faria. Hupp surmised that the note was referencing a life insurance payout related to the Russ Faria murder trials that were held in Lincoln County. Extensive canvassing and interviews failed to produce any known links whatsoever between Gumpenberger and Hupp or Faria. As the investigation ensued, a female subject was later identified and interviewed. This female subject, on August the 10th, 2016, 6 days prior to the death of Gumpenberger, she called 911 to report a suspicious circumstance to another St. Charles County law enforcement agency. This subject reported that in that incident, a white female in a dark-colored SUV randomly pulled up to her while she was standing outside of her residence. The woman inside the SUV told her that she was a producer from the Dateline television show, and she tried to recruit this individual to go with her to do a soundbite for an upcoming Dateline episode regarding 911 calls. She was told that she would be given a script, and she was promised $1,000 in cash, both up front and after the completion of the soundbite. The female subject initially agreed to go with the female who was driving the SUV, but then shortly thereafter demanded to be taken back to her home. When the female driver did not produce any credentials, indicating that she was in fact a Dateline reporter. The female subject then captured this incident that I've just described on surveillance cameras that she had affixed to her home. A review of that video showed that the vehicle in question was a dark-colored GMAC Acadia with a Missouri license plate that matches license plates issued to Pamela Hupp. The female subject later picked out Hupp out of a photo array lineup and positively identified her as the person posing as the Dateline reporter who lured her into the vehicle. Extensive interviews of people who knew Gumpenberger, the victim of this case, said that his mother drove him to his doctor's appointments and he walked everywhere else. Investigation further revealed that she described driving by, Hupp described driving by her daughter's residence on the morning of August 16th, 2016, the day of Gumpenberger's death. Hupp's daughter lived approximately 2 miles from Gumpenberger's apartment. The investigation revealed that Hupp had her cell phone with her as she was driving around during the morning hours of August 16th, 2016. A search warrant was served on Google, who provided historical location data related to her specific device. One latitude and longitude location provided by Google resolved to Gumpenberger's apartment complex. This occurred between 11:25 a.m. and 11:29 a.m. on August 16th, 2016. The 911 call were first placed at 12:04 p.m. on that same day. As of this morning, as indicated by the chief, Hupp is presently in custody. The court has set her bond at $2 million cash only, no 10%, no surety. At this time, we will entertain questions for a brief amount of time. Chief?
I was going to.
Oh, thank you.
Now, let me interrupt just for a moment. While in custody this morning, just before noon today, Pamela Hupp indicated that she needed to use the restroom. While inside the female bathroom, Pamela Hupp began stabbing herself on her wrist and in her neck, or on her neck, with a ballpoint pen she had secreted on her person before entering. An assigned female police officer interrupted those actions and immediately rendered aid after summoning medical personnel. Pamela Hupp was conveyed to an area hospital where she is being treated at this time, and she is in stable condition. Now I think we'll entertain a few questions.
Before we start, obviously we're limited in what we can say, but having said that, fire away.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's such a convoluted narrative. Can you give us a streamlined version so people can immediately grasp what is she accused of doing and why?
The evidence seems to indicate that she hatched a plot to find an innocent victim and to murder this innocent victim in an apparent effort to frame somebody else.
Sorry,
How do
just
you-
catching up here. The Faria was acquitted. She hasn't been named as a suspect as far as Lincoln County goes. So why? Why is she trying to frame Russell Faria?
Well, the first thing that I would say is I don't have the details of the Lincoln County case. That's a separate jurisdiction, separate investigation. And as much as I'd like some of those answers as well, I don't have them at this point in time. I think there's enough out there in the public consciousness that would lead you to believe, arrive at certain conclusions. But as of now, we do not have any specific reasons why she would do this.
How far back could you potentially go with cell phone data or computer data to see about other tentacles?
I know we've already sent subpoenas out, investigative subpoenas are out to all the relevant cell phone providers. We are in the process of figuring out just how far back we're able to go, so I can't answer your question specifically at this point.
Tim, can you talk about, so you said data showed that she was outside Gumpenberger's apartment. How do you then think Gumpenberger got to her house? Can you elaborate on that timeline of this?
Well, I will say this, the evidence that we have, if you piece it all together, and obviously you don't have the benefit of having seen that, there's this very specific timeline. Things had to have happened in a certain sequence within a very small frame of time. The coordinates that we received and were able to decipher from Google indicate a timeline that is corroborated by other external evidence that puts her at or near the location of his very apartment. We know she was there for about 4 minutes. What happened at that scene, I can't speak to that yet because we don't have direct information at this time.
And how, do you guys have any idea why Gumpenberger, what led her to this person?
There doesn't seem to be any link between Hupp and Gumpenberger. We believe that this was a random act.
That Google, the location data that you got from Google, you know, I know this other person called 911. Is there any preliminary indication that she tried this with anybody else? I mean, you know, she's looping around certain neighborhoods and all those other places.
I got to be careful to get too far into the evidence. Let's say that's a very good theory, and we're following that theory. We're already in process of ascertaining that.
What was the purpose of the ruse of her posing as a producer for Dateline to pick up that woman?
I don't think we can identify a purpose necessarily. I think our theory, and it's a theory shared by all of us up here, everybody who's had a chance to look at all the evidence, is that she was vetting a potential victim. And the person that came forward to describe her scenario that was captured on the surveillance camera, the information she provided us matches up very similarly with other information that we found as it relates to the 911 call and the interaction between she and Gumpenberger at her residence.
Do you have any indication at this point? I mean, she has been, this is the third odd death that she has been close to. Do you have any indication from your investigation so far that she played a role in the death of Betsy Faria or her mother?
We don't have any indication about anything other than what we've just talked about today. I understand those questions are fair questions. We are limited just to what our team has put together. We're very confident that we've got very solid evidence to support the conviction here. Having said that, I can't speak to the evidence in the other cases.
Because the Betsy Faria case remains unsolved and there is a jurisdictional issue there, could hypothetically the feds be involved, or are they involved in looking at anything broader?
I can't comment on any investigation that the federal government might be involved in, but generally speaking, I can say they would have jurisdiction to explore an investigation in that situation.
Tim, was the note in the pockets and the $900 in the Ziploc bag, was that planted?
We believe that Gumpenberger did not put those in his pockets.
Have you had conversations with the U.S. Attorney's Office about this case since Gumpenberger's death?
I'm not going to be able to comment on anything like that, unfortunately.
Any indication that there was anyone else involved in this elaborate plan?
None.
The knife that the suspect claimed was wielded by Gumpenberger at the scene, was that recovered?
It was. It was found in Ms. Huff's vehicle.
Did you trace that back to her, or do you know? I mean, do you know if that, you know, where that came from?
I will say that we're confident we know where that came from. That part of the investigation is still ongoing.
We're speaking to people in that neighborhood the day it happened. No one really saw much. I mean, so you believe that this was all carried out without anyone witnessing it at Gumpenberger's apartment or at her home in O'Fallon? Or were there other witnesses that gave you guys any clues into that something was odd here?
Yeah.
Right now, we're confident that we've conducted this investigation and did all those interviews. But we would also ask that if anybody out there that has been approached by Pamela Hupp to give us a call. We know that, as Mr. Lomar had indicated, we know that she did approach one other person. So if there's anyone else that has been approached, we'd certainly want to talk with them.
And how soon after those 911 calls and when your officers arrived on scene did you guys realize this looked like something other than a burglary or home invasion?
Well, I couldn't give you an estimate, but when the detectives really started looking into it, there was a lot of questions that they wanted answered that just wasn't clear from the scene. And from that, it developed into other information, and they just followed every lead, which was quite a few leads, by the way, I might add.
Chief, you mentioned she's in stable condition in a local hospital. When she's released, will she be in the custody of the police or the county jail or county?
Well, right now, she's still in our custody while she's being treated. She would be transferred to the St. Charles County authorities, jail authorities.
Can you describe the firearm? Yeah, you said revolver, is it 5-shot, 6-shot, what caliber?
It was a revolver, but I'm not playing stupid here. It's just the way I look. But I don't know if it was a 5-shot or 6-shot. It was a revolver, though.
And did she explain why she had it so close at hand?
No, not that I'm aware of that she would give anything except that she has guns in the house.
Is that why you guys arrested her outside the house? I mean, on the street rather than...
Oh, you mean this morning?
Yeah.
We thought it was best that we could control the situation a lot better on the street than trying to enter her house.
Chief, could I ask you just kind of reapproach the basic timeline or flow of events here? You had to explain this to somebody who has not been following the Faria case and all the ins and outs. And you did a good job too. Just so another version of it. Can you give us a short version of this convoluted case and help us make sense of it? What happened?
Well, as Mr. Lomar indicated, it appears that she was searching for a patsy that could possibly take some heat off her. Now, that's just Roy Jockenstaller speaking. The evidence will show that she wanted to do a reenactment supposedly involving the 911 calls. And during that reenactment, apparently, she shot and killed Mr. Gumpenberger. We also, the investigation revealed that she had approached someone else to do this reenactment or whatever. So our conclusions are she was looking for a victim.
How did you make that connection between that other person? Is that something you went back in the archives, somebody remembered it? Because you said it was sometime earlier.
We received, it was 6 days or a few days earlier, we received information that she had been approached and we interviewed her. So.
Oh, even before the shooting?
Oh, no, we
Okay.
did not. That wasn't brought to our attention until after the shooting.
Okay.
So you think that she was looking for someone else to place blame in terms of Betsy Maria murder?
I think, just from the conclusion I would draw, would be that she was trying to look for someone that could take some heat off her because of that previous case.
This is, I mean, have you ever heard of it's such a convoluted tale.
Yes.
Have you ever?
Yes, I mean, it is, and that's why it's very important that the detectives and this team didn't close their mind into any one direction to go. They had to keep an open mind in this.
And is she's trying to get somebody to take the heat for the Faria case. Is she still under some heat? Do you still look at her as a suspect in that? How do you look at her?
No, the case that we investigated here in the city of O'Fallon is cleared by arrest now with her. We know we got the right person.
You mentioned the victim's mental and physical limitations, Tim. Do you think that she saw that as an easy target? I mean, do you even think he knew what he was being put up to?
I think she was very calculated in looking for somebody that fit a particular profile. I think this victim unfortunately fit that profile. Somebody who may not be sophisticated, somebody who might be easily persuaded by a decent amount of cash. I don't think she anticipated that it would turn out that he had the physical and mental disabilities that he did have. And I think that's part of her undoing, to be honest with you.
She has spoken before about brain injuries that she's suffered, difficulty with her memory. I mean, is that going to be, do you think that's going to be an issue in the case, like her
No.
competency or anything like that?
Not at all.
We'll answer a couple more questions. Yes, ma'am?
Can you go over again how she came into contact with Gumpenberger and how they established contact?
It's really the evidence.
Sure. The victim in this case, Mr. Gumpenberger, he lived in St. Charles City, lived in a particular apartment complex. The investigation revealed that her vehicle traversed the road in front of his apartment complex twice. And the coordinates also showed that she stopped in front of his very apartment complex, inside the complex, for a period of at least 4 minutes. We have witnesses who put him outside of his apartment complex within that approximate time frame. What happened from the time she pulled up till the time he got into the car, we don't know.
And was it the same ruse to him about the Dateline from Dateline and 911 call story kind of thing?
I will say that the story about the Dateline report in the 911 script that was provided to us by this third-party witness, it was very, very similar to what we were able to hear on the 911 call.
We're going to end this now. I just want one comment. Many of you in the room know my background and my experience. And during my career, I've had the honor and privilege of working with a number of great detectives. Let me say this. I would put our detective bureau in the O'Fallon Police Department up against any detectives that I have ever worked with in my whole career. These guys did one heck of a job, and they followed every lead, and I just can't help but tell you that I'm very, very proud of them. Thank you.
So is there no mugshot of this, or was she
Oh,
looked at all
she,
before?
no, she went to the hospital before processing, so we don't have a mugshot to give you. Thank you.
Is she in a stable condition right now?
Yes.